What up, buddy bots? How's it going? So today I wanted to highlight an ongoing issue with bullshot. Now, we've all been enjoying the Superbot, all think different things about whether it's fun, OP, underpowered and so on and so forth. In reality, it's pretty weak early game and then potentially one of the strongest things late game. But a lot of this is because of an affix you can get on your weapon called bullshot. Bullshot changes your base damage, but there's some funky stuff going along with it. So let's run over that and we'll throw up the information on the screen. Hopefully my information is accurate enough for you all to follow. Maths isn't really my thing, so bear with me. Okay. So off the bat we have Super Blaster, just here. Base damage of 20, fire rate of 5 per second, range 16 meters, crit 1.25. Not a particularly strong weapon, innate affix which makes it reload quicker, and an alt fire. Now if you add bullshot onto it like here, you see that the profile actually changes. Now this is important because a lot of affixes don't show, or they don't always show a change here, and perks and items do not change what you have on the weapon card. So it's important to note this for later on. So you'll see here most of the stats stay the same, but what changes is it goes from 20 damage to 4.5 damage with 5 pellets that can hit. Okay, so it turns it into a shotgun. A bit like buckshot, but on steroids. Now that off the bat isn't too bad. That's balanced, that's fine. It's completely fine. The damage bonus that you're getting isn't as high as you're kind of seeing at endgame. It ends up being about a 10% damage increase. So the same as just giving it a level up. Now that brings us on to talking about level ups. So level ups, as you should be aware, is every time you level a weapon up from level 1 it gets 10% bonus damage. So at level 2 here we can see Super Blaster has damage of 22, fire rate, range goes up, fire rate is the same, the range goes up, the crit stays the same. And then you have level 3 Super Blaster, goes to 24 damage because it's now at 20% bonus damage. And then Super Blaster level 4 goes up by 30%, so it's now at 26%. So you can see it's going up by 10% each, and that 10% is based on the original base value of the gun. It's not going from the last level up, it's going from the core of the gun. So it's all scaling from that 20%. No, not 20%, sorry, that 20 base damage. Which is all fine and dandy, that's how weapons should work. Now what this means with Super Blaster plus Bullshot affix, it changes the stat block, right? So it should be 10% of 4.5 that is increasing. So it should go from 4.5 to 4.9. A very, very small incremental increase as how weapons in this game work, because that's what the damage bonus is. However, if you look at this bullshot level 2 here, you'll see that the damage has gone from 5 times 4.5 to 5 times 6.5. So yeah, if we look at level 3, it goes 5 times 8.5, and level 4, 5.10.5. So what it's actually doing is the level up here is still adding 2 damage per pellet as based from the base 20 damage. So rather than getting 0.45 damage per pellet that you should be getting, we are getting 2 damage bonus every pellet. Now that doesn't sound huge, but you have to remember that is 2 times 5. It's 5 shots. That's increasing your damage by 10 per level. It is increasing your damage by 50% more than it should be every level up. So this is why this gun is maxing out way higher than it should be. Like, it is going insanely over the top. Because realistically, at like end game, if you had a level 14 weapon with no perks and no gear, you're dealing, what is it, 20 times 1.3, it's dealing, sorry, it's 2.3, 20 times 2.3, 46 to base damage with a normal blaster, and if I remember the math correctly, it's like 69 damage or something. So it's just incredibly over the top. Yeah, so you end up just being 50% stronger every level up than you should be. So that's the problem with bullshot, and that's why it feels like it's going insane, because then you have to remember that perks and items are then increasing that damage further. Now luckily they're not working off the base value of the 20, so they're not all increasing the damage from that. They work a little bit differently, where it's like a stacking system, so they're just calculating the damage after you've shot it, not from the base of the weapon anymore. However, that does mean there are still some weapon affixes that are affecting this. So there is unstable, as shown here. Now unstable increases the damage by a further 10%, the same way leveling up does. This means that that is also increasing the damage by 2 per pellet rather than 0.45 per pellet. So again, it's just a huge damage bonus more. Like, that is almost the equivalent of if you had marked a target. If you have a super blaster with bullshot and unstable on, it's getting basically the same damage bonus as if you had marked a target and were shooting them with a baseball shot. That's how incredibly overpowered this is at the moment. That's why I'm 99% sure this is a bug. It's incorrect scaling. It isn't taking the new values of what the weapon card should be reading correctly, and fingers crossed they'll fix it soon, because it is a little bit ridiculous at the moment. I know a lot of people are having fun with their power fantasy, but it's making the character unbalanced, and it's actually making the character unfun and difficult to balance as well. Because if you play the character with bullshot, you think the character's fine, it's very strong, no problems. Play it without bullshot, it feels like the worst character that's ever existed, bar my infinite stealth. If you haven't seen that video, link in the description. But yeah, so this is the bullshot bug. It is changing one letter in the word. You can probably work out what I mean. So yeah, hopefully they fix it. Hopefully they love the game as much as we do, and they want to see it more balanced rather than broken. And then hopefully once they fix that, we can actually work on balancing this class so that it's weak but fun, because it is meant to be a challenge character. It is meant to be a weaker character. So hopefully it's something we can work with. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Sorry if I bored you or if I scared you with my terrible math skills, but it's accurate enough to find what the problem is. So again, thank you very much. Subscribe below, leave your comments of yelling at me about how bad I am, because everyone does. Peace, love, and buddy bots.